Hello, everyone. This is JP.
Christopher!
Today, I'm
How
joined
are you
with.
doing, John?
Hello, everyone. This is
I'm
JPL,
tired.
and today I'm. Hello, everyone. This is
Hello.
JPL, and today I'm joined with.
Christopher.
Yes, and we're a podcast name in
In
brackets.
brackets. You know what I just realized, John? I didn't plug
What?
in my microphone.
That's fine.
Yeah, I bet
Leave
you
it.
can't even tell.
Yeah, just leave it. I
Yeah.
can tell because when you plug in your microphone, I hear a crackly sound every 2 seconds.
Frick! It still does that?
Yes.
Why didn't you tell me?
Well, I forgot because it's been so long. So yeah, no.
Okay,
The
yeah.
last
Screw that
week's
microphone.
recording is interesting.
Oh, I'm so sorry, John.
That's okay. It's just like every other of our episodes.
Okay, I will. You know what? Seriously though, like if you hear it, tell me to stop.
Tell you to stop.
Yeah, tell me to unplug it because I don't. I need to figure out. It's probably I don't know what it is.
Is it not a Skype thing?
No, it's not a Skype thing.
Cool.
Actually, I might. My first place to put blame on is the computer. I think my computer is old enough where there's too much information going on.
Old enough.
Yeah, that's where I would personally throw the blame. But
yeah,
I could one day upgrade to a new computer and find out it's not the case, and I just need a new microphone.
Probably.
Yeah. So
we were talking before.
No, I'm just upset. I'm sorry, John. Just a moment. I'll transition in a moment. Not that one. Not that I'll do a proper transition. But just, John. I'm sorry. Like legitimately, I'm talking to you. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I don't care, but I forgive you.
What do you mean you don't care?
I forgive you. I don't care though.
John.
Don't worry about it.
I feel horrible.
You don't need to. It's a very low budget podcast that makes like 1 cent per episode, and besides, we don't have ads anymore.
Really?
Yeah, no, my thing ended recently.
I also haven't recorded like videos in so long, so I totally forgot that my microphone flips out. So
I would like a new sponsor so I can make new videos. New ad. That's silly.
Okay, speaking of quote Anchor.
Now podcast for Spotify.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, honestly, it was kind of messy because like they kept changing your UI like every day. They'd add a new feature, or like before, I go to the dashboard and all the analytics and stuff was just right there. Now I have to go to analytics, this analytic, this analytic, and this analytic. I have to go through 10 steps to look at everything, where before it was just streamlined into one. So there's just too much unnecessariness. But honestly, it's still functional.
Right. I'm still bitter about, the way that Anchor changed, and then now Anchor doesn't even exist in name.
Yes, but our link still works.
Links, yeah, I bet. It's just like, again, like before Anchor became its podcasting platform, before it got bought by Spotify, it was...
So that makes sense.
Something else. And
that's why our ad ended, because Anchor doesn't exist anymore.
Anyways, all right.
I need to pay out.
You probably should.
Yeah, a whole $5 they'll take. Like
$5?
Yes.
You could buy yourself a shirt with your podcast name on it.
That took like 2 years to get. No. Yeah, no, I already have a shirt with my podcast name on it.
Yeah, I was fooling around.
You were fooling around. Anyway, before we started recording, we were just talking, and then we just got into this whole thing. And I just had like a quick thought on just my time in college, specifically my time in theater. in college, where I started out college for the first 2 years wanting to be an actor. And then I switched majors just to general theater for the next 2 years. It was just getting to like every aspect of theater. So costuming, lighting, rigging, run crew stuff. And then for the last 2 years, I've been focusing on audio and theater. So like right now I'm looking for audio jobs. We're talking about how I could work for Sight and Sounds. We'll see. I don't really know. But that's where
I
I'm
hope
at.
so. I really hope so. I'm just trying to bring everybody to Branson. And then
Yes. I
I'll
mean,
leave
there's,
everyone in Branson.
I mean, with Kelsey already in Branson and her fiance, Aaron, will probably be moving there as well.
Yeah.
We'll have a nice family there because we got other people there.
Judah.
But also, like, half of the other people I know are in Florida, so it's an even split. Who do I care more about? My friends are all over the place. It's kind of difficult.
Yep, I feel that. So I work at a theater. I got the job because I wanted to work at a ministry, and this is a ministry, and this is entertainment, and I want to be working in entertainment. So that's why I got the job, but not because I love theater. And during like the first few months, I really struggled with the repetition of professional theater.
Yeah.
And I've mostly gotten over that. Now that we're doing a new show, now I'm like trying to adjust to a new show. But I don't love theater. And so like it's something I'll ask almost everybody. Why do you love theater? And so why so you obviously you've jumped around different majors, but point is you still started out in theater in college. What drew you to theater?
Well, again, it's part of the entertainment industry. Originally, I wanted to be a voice actor, but got into theater in high school because they asked me to. Then I just really loved it, specifically in the performance side. I liked being able to create the character, which you can do in the other parts as well. But what makes live theater interesting is that your moment is right there. It's live. You can't redo it. You can't re-record it. It's one and done. And it's one and done for every night. So each performance is a brand new experience. You have a different audience, which changes the way the thing flows. You have the different ways your actors performs, which change your mood. So it's all about what happens to make this live thing unique. And then working backstage, it's really fun too. I do appreciate the repetition because I know that this is what's supposed to be happening. And I know like, this thing's not right because it's not on this track that it's supposed to be following. That's where I enjoy theater because I don't mind tedious repetition tasks like cleaning microphones at the end of each night. So yeah, no, theater. It's hard to say. You don't like the monotony of it.
I think it's like I've kind of relatively gotten over the monotony. I don't love it, but like if I would never want to be an actor at Sight and Sound. Not that I can act, but I'm just saying like I never want to act for 400 shows a year.
Oh, I get that. Doing that many. Sure.
Yeah. I also honestly don't want to mix. Now there's 3 audio guys, but say even 100 shows a year. I don't know. I don't. Again, like I've not had mixing experience, so I don't feel qualified in that. So I'm not going to try.
Yeah. No. Again, it will be interesting to me start mixing professionally because typically we mix like maybe 5 shows, and we alternate between me and the other audio guy in between shows. So it's I do one show, he does the next. I do one show, he does the next. Not a whole lot are we mixing two shows at the same time, but I have done it. I did it for Emma because that was my senior project. And it is tiresome. Like going into the show, it's like, oh, okay, we gotta do this. But when you get into it, you get into a nice groove that you want to like get through this.
Yeah.
And it feels amazing when you're done.
But
it's like playing a video game.
I don't love.
You want to get to the end, and so each like act, each break, it's like, cool, I made it this far. I know what's coming. And I made it to the end. It's like, great, I did this. Cool. I can celebrate for a moment before I have to do it again.
I'll be honest, I don't love the live aspect. It's more than the monotony. I think it's the fact that it's live.
The fact that it's live, that there's so many mistakes that could happen.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, no. I was very concerned with that earlier on, but, like, then I made a lot of mistakes in live, which turned out to be pretty fun stories. But, yeah, no. I'm not really concerned about live anymore. It's like, it happens. It happens. It's not the end of the world.
I think the thing for me is, like, I really come from the post-production world.
Yeah. No, I get that. It's so different. It is nice to just...
That's why I was just apologizing about the microphone. Because, like, we can't fix that. Like, to a degree, our podcast is live. Like, if that's why I'm like, tell me, because I want you to have the most perfect product possible.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh, it's fine, because you kind of come more from that live theater aspect. And I'm like, no, it must be perfect post-production aspect.
It's fine. We have to go on with the show versus, well, this audio is not usable.
Yeah.
It's got a crack in it. Well, we got to re-record it.
It just, I don't like it. So a recent story is the computer crashed at Sight and Sound.
Nice.
And they're doing this dead silent.
So what did they do? Did they stop the show and then wait?
Yeah, they had to. Yeah, we had we held for like 10 minutes to get it back up. And
did the audience clap when you started again?
I was in the basement, so
okay.
I honestly don't know. They usually do.
Yeah, and that's always fun. With the audience, it's like respectful.
They're understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like there are other times when we don't hold for things. I remember one time this year we don't have the LED screen because we don't need it. But like I remember one time during Jesus, and the background really glitched out, and I'm just like, no, I hate this. Why? There's nothing you can do about it. And we move on, and it fixes itself or whatever. But just like it's not perfect, and I hate it so much.
It's so fun when it happens.
Well, I'm happy for you, John.
No, it is so fun for a technical person because it's like.
Well, sometimes I do like a show hold, because, but like.
But no. It's more like, holy crap, this thing's not exactly the same. Wow, cool. I have a different day today. Yeah, no, a lot of like Broadway stage managers love it when something goes wrong because that means they get to do something other than just call the show the exact same way. Yeah, no, speaking of things that went wrong, during Romeo and Juliet, I forgot about this. So sometimes, because Liberty has their own quote unquote streaming service that they can stream some stuff on, and you can, you can technically, so you can watch some of our plays.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah, you can pay $5 and watch one of our shows that they filmed.
Dare I ask, is Bedford Boys on there?
No.
Is the writing competition show with the women on there?
Yes.
Frick.
Yeah, so
I might want to see that.
It's mainly like our written shows and Shakespeare because we don't need the copyright for Shakespeare.
Right. Oh, if you could send me a link to that, because
Yeah.
I want to see Bloodroot.
Yeah. So with Bedford Boys, everybody wants it there, but here's the problem: we use so much copyrighted music in Bedford Boys. We cannot stream it without paying so much royalties to the different artists, which is a problem. So what we've been doing recently, Greg specifically, he will create music for the shows. And it's nice. So like the show will have like some music. If they want to use popular music, they'll do that. But then he'll create like a different, similar sounding style for the recording. And so with some of these shows, we have the broadcast department come in and film with their cameras all over the place. Well, when we recorded Romeo and Juliet, we gave them access to our system. They never gave that access back. And so when we came back the next day, the lighting console, we had no control over any of the lights. So it was just house lights. We couldn't control any of the lights. We had a random spotlight that was on. Like we couldn't like do anything. We had to get to broadcast and like go and just, you couldn't even sign in. It was so ridiculous. But we went with the show anyway. And it was actually really fun. The audience was super engaged. The actors, like, it was shocking for them. They were like, "Wow, I can see the audience." But it changed the way they performed, and it actually made it so much better. And then, of course, they fixed the lights halfway through. The audience cheered when that happened anyway. But you could tell visually that there was a change in quality between the two.
Okay, see, that is a show I'd like for there to be something different. But Sight and Sound is so polished. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, we can't let something like that happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. You don't want that to happen. But
you don't want that to happen. But, like, that situation...
It's pretty neat.
But it wouldn't really happen at Sight and Sound.
I'm sure. They'll be like, oh, I guess we're refunding the show.
Yeah, they probably would. I mean, it depends on specific circumstances. But, like... Yeah.
Yeah. But theater, it's fun. For me, at least.
See, like, that story would convince me. But again, like, that just wouldn't happen at Sight and Sound.
It's also like, I'm not even a theater guy. Because I really only got into theater in high school. Everyone else in the department was, like, raised with theater. They know every show. They know every Broadway actor. I have no clue. It's like, I know the shows they did in high school. I know the shows that they talk about that I've never seen or read. So I'm limited in my knowledge of theater, but I still enjoy it.
Okay, so another aspect is just as an audience member, I would, on the flip side, it was like first what you were saying, like that would be enjoyable for me as a tech, but as an audience member, I feel like I really want a perfect show. You know what I mean? If I don't get a perfect show, I've not experienced an imperfect show.
Yes,
that
and no.
I know of.
It depends on the audience member, but I think most people, when something wrong happens, they enjoy it.
Okay.
Unless someone dies, and then it's traumatic. Yeah. Anyway, how are you doing, Christopher?
How am I doing? I don't know. We just finished an 11 show week, which it went well. And again, I'm enjoying doing this show, but I don't know. I feel like I'm still like trying to get to a sense of normality. But all at the same time, I'm really thankful and grateful. And yeah, I know that's very vague. There's some specifics I don't want to get to on the air,
Of course.
but yeah. How's school going for you?
Oh, school's fine. You know, we're still going at it. Um, Not much to say there for school. We did open a show this past week
Nice.
called Silent Sky. It's in the black box. It hasn't been doing so well because
That's
there's not
sad.
that many. It is sad. We have less seats than normal, and there's like I guess 70% capacity or 60 on average, which is a shame. To be fair, the show wasn't really advertised as much as R&J, so what's there to do? But it's a shame because this is like one of our more advanced technical things we've had in the black box because we have a giant projector pointing up to the ceiling. We got this big old turntable in the middle. It's a theater in the round. It's pretty special.
That's really cool, actually.
It is pretty cool. What's not really cool is that the director decided that they should have microphones in the black box.
Mm-mm.
You know how the black box is.
Yes,
it's like
I do.
It's smaller, so you don't really need it. But they're
it.
using it. The booth is the worst place to mix the show from, especially in the black box, because it's not designed properly. Because audio, you can't hear anything in the booth, so you have to mix by saying like, okay, if I can hear like maybe 1% of it, that's a good level. Because if you try to mix it in the booth, it's too loud. So that's a struggle. Also, we can't have the windows open, so I can't actually hear what's going on. So we put a little speaker, but like you can't really properly mix by the speaker, so the speaker's just there for me to hear the line. So I have to trust that we have a set base of levels that we follow, and hopefully that sounds good. Also,
can I fire this director, please?
It's Chris. It's Nelson. It's Nelson.
Why? Okay.
Nelson is crazy like that. He will do these random things, and like everyone, all the other staff in the department's like, Nelson, you're killing me. Why are you making these choices? So yeah, no.
You know what? You saying that, like, I have a little more sympathy, but at the same time, like, it's the black box.
Yeah. What's even better is that they put a scrim in front of the booth, so we can barely see through the scrim. I can barely.
Was that recently added?
Recently added just for the show, because
just for the show.
Yeah, because it's a theater in the round. The audience people can look up to the booth from the other side of the room. And I guess their decision is that yeah, so they want to put the little scrim there so that they're not seeing us. Well, I can't really see out that thing. I can barely see who's there. I can barely tell who it is. I could barely tell without the scrim because half my view is cut because of the theater space is being utilized the way it is. Also, like, there's half of a random curtain in the way. That's blocking my vision specifically. It's so crazy. Yeah, I love Nelson. He's a crazy dude. They did this thing this past semester where they turned one of the craft rooms in where costumes, that's where they do the laundry, that's where they make some props and stuff. They turned that into a room for the design classes to do their classes there. But like everyone else is complaining, is like, well, we can't do our work because they're always taking class in there. So we can't clean the costumes or do anything in there when we need to do that. So it's, I love Nelson. I get him. He's trying to do creative stuff and be for the people, but it is interesting.
So, I asked a coworker, "What are you doing this weekend?" She said, "Oh, so at BRAC, the Branson Arts, whatever, I can't remember the full name. Community Theater Arts Center. Regardless, at the local community theater here, they're doing a show. So she said, "Oh, me and some people are gonna go see that this weekend." And I asked, "Are any Sight and Sound people in it?" I was pretty positive they weren't. She said, "I don't think so." I said, I don't think I'm interested. Not that she invited me, but I'm just like, because
Yeah.
like if I knew, like, it's not that I had to go with her or any coworkers. It's just the fact, oh, if someone's Sight and Sound is in there, I'd want to see it.
Right.
And I've mentioned like how my perspective of theater has changed a bit, where I feel like I'm at the point where if I have the appreciation I have for theater now, if I was still at Liberty, I'd go see every show. But also it comes with the fact that at least I would know some people, or the tickets are cheap, or like I know the environment, and
Right.
so like this I don't know. I find it. I was thinking about like what I said, and it's like it's not that it's hypocritical. I just find it interesting, where it's just like, I'm not the kind of guy who's just gonna go out and see any show still.
If I had this revelation like a couple years ago, things would have been different.
What do you mean?
Yeah, that's the mindset. It's like, oh, if I had this revelation
Yeah.
of the way I appreciate theater now, I could have seen more shows with CJ in it.
Yes.
Specifically. No, I think the same thing too with like making friends and other stuff. We talked about this last week.
Did we?
Off podcast.
Oh, okay.
You know.
I don't. I'm sorry. Like, I'm so sorry.
It's fine. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's the basic idea of like, I have this experience now. I do kind of.
Maybe I know. Anyway,
I do kind of wish I had this experience to like, oh, I wish I did this differently. I presented myself to this person earlier. Be friends.
Okay.
Yeah. Be friends with people when they're a freshman versus when they're a senior now. Because the guy there, Ian Perry. I don't know if you know Ian Perry. No. He graduated a couple years ago, but like, I remember him being named a lot his freshman year. Never talked to him at all until senior year for him, where we finally had a class together, and we're like, what the heck? We have so much in common, and yet we've never talked to each other. Like, he's a really cool guy, and yet I really wish I knew him earlier, and so we could like do more friend stuff. Yeah. There's a lot of that. Boy, silly me being antisocial. I should have listened to all that signs that said stop being antisocial. Oh boy, what you gonna do?
I still feel antisocial. I want to be better about like trying to connect with the actors this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do that.
I will try.
You know one actor already that I know.
I know a handful of actors. It's just a matter of like, because like their community are the other actors. So like, and they love us, but it's like I have to break into that and be like, hey, do you want to grab lunch or something? My original idea when I first got here was to like try to get to know my deck team.
Sure.
And now I'm at the point where it's like, okay, I feel like I'm past that point. Obviously, there's still some members I don't know super well, but I feel more comfortable, more integrated, that I would pursue different kinds of activities than like getting a meal kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, the actors, the actors I don't know super well, where it's like, okay, I want to get to know you better. And so, yeah, like I've had on my mind to like try to get a meal with Judah, and I just never have. And then now he's getting married. So, yeah.
Is that a problem? Is he moving away because he's getting married?
No, she works at Sight and Sound too.
Okay.
They met here. Yeah.
Nice.
Good for them. It is cute. So yeah, but it's the fact that, especially that they work here together, they're with each other all the time. So it's like that. Oh, it's hard to feel like I can break into that. You know what I mean?
Well, you can join the two of them.
So like there's a lot of, so like first I joined Sight and Sound. I joined like late August. So like I was like trying to integrate myself into being there. And then we have changeover, which is when she comes in, and then they love each other immediately. And so soon as changeover is done, shows start, they're with each other 24/7. It's like, oh.
Well, it's like the hippies.
Huh?
Well, it's kind of like the hippies. They're always together.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant like actual hippies.
Them too, but
But like, I'm I'm not gonna go down that hole. But like just with the hippies, like Ashland's the child coordinator, so unlike Judah and his fiance, like they're both actors. You know what I mean?
Right.
So Ashland is a little more out and about, but Ashland and Ryan will always like eat together, I think. So I think I was getting to the point where it's like, okay, because like I didn't want to see myself as like trying to take Judah away from his fiance, kind of be like I just like we knew each other in college, kind of like it'd just be nice to like talk or whatever, right? But I didn't want to drag him away. And then I was like, okay, I think I'll try to break out of that mentality. And then they get engaged. And like, oh, frick. Now they're doing wedding planning. And then now I'm like in that cycle all over again. It's like, well, I don't want to take Judah away from wedding planning.
Although I think he'd appreciate it if you did.
Yeah, that is true. I think so. That my issue is I'm so much of like a planner. Like I'm a little too considerate of people.
Do I have his number? Could I just like, hey, Christopher wants to hang out with you, please? He's too insecure about like separating you and your fiance. Would you mind?
I mean, if you want to go shoot at it, but I think I will eventually. Like, I think I might
eventually
try to break my ice first.
Don't be married and have a kid, and then you ask.
I might try to break my ice with some of the other actors, and then I'll contact Judah about that. Maybe there's one actor specifically.
That's why you should get cubed ice.
Cubed ice, yeah. I should just chuck it at myself.
Yeah, no need to break ice. You just get ice cubes.
Yeah, get ice cubes and chuck them.
Sorry, this is so dumb.
Yeah, I need to work on that. Were you gonna say something?
About what?
Maybe I had a different tangent in my head and I forgot it.
Yeah, we were continuing our conversation from last week of just what did we watch? What were some things that happened?
Not even continuing. We didn't even really touch on that.
We didn't really touch on that, yes.
I asked one question about The Mandalorian. You're kind of like, let's wait for next week.
Let's wait for next week.
And now it's this week. No. Sorry. Now it's next week, which is this week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, pretty good episode this week. I actually really liked it.
Okay, so I feel like I'm seeing Mandalorian ratings or viewing ratings are down. I feel like I'm seeing some mixed opinions of some things. What are your thoughts of like just how the season Mandalorian's going, or just Star Wars in general?
So here's what has been happening. The first two seasons of Mandalorian were episodic, meaning each episode was its own adventure, its own plot. This season kind of shifted that mold in that the first two episodes kind of follow the same thing. The first episode isn't really an episode. It's like 5 different plots starting that we're going to explore throughout the season. And then so far it's been like a couple plots. Episode 3 was weird because we had a whole thing without the Mandalorian, which is, of course, setting up future stuff, but it was like, interesting. And then this week felt the most like the Mandalorian because it was a self-contained plot. with some pretty cool stuff, and I really enjoyed that. So we'll
I heard
see.
about Windows pretty cool stuff.
Oh yes,
The Jar Jar Binks actor.
Ahmad Best. Spoilers, sorry, but like Ahmad Best coming back to Star Wars is so amazing.
So this character has never been in Star Wars.
So here's what this is. Ahmad Best, he was the actor who played Jar Jar. He got the hate, got depression, got better, went to a convention, everybody loved him now, got a standing ovation. So then they made a Star Wars kids game show, like Temple, Secrets of the Hidden Temple type of a game show where kids go through these challenges, Star Wars related challenges. And Ahmad Best was the host of that show. Mm. And so he created his own character for that. Oh. And it's the exact same character that they brought to The Mandalorian, same name.
Oh, that's cool.
And so it was really cool. I was like, holy crap, I wasn't expecting that. I saw that happen. It's like, oh my gosh, it's him. And he saved Baby Yoda. Mm-hmm. What? This is amazing. Redemption at last. I'm so happy. Everybody is so happy for him.
Yeah. I can imagine.
I love it. His scenes were so cool too.
So, with that in mind, do you think that that Jar Jar Binks will make an appearance?
See that now that's a slippery slope. On one thing, it's nice to see Ahmad Best back, but then Jar Jar, ooh, he is canonically alive at this time. Mm-hmm. But why would he be meeting up with the Mandalorians? I don't know.
I feel like it would be a why not kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't think they want to touch that.
Are you sure?
Well, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know.
So you don't like Jar Jar?
I enjoy Jar Jar, but I get it. He is very clumsy. He's very comic reliefy. Mm-hmm. He talks weird, apparently. I don't hate him. I love him, but he can be a bit much at times.
Right. I do think his presence was much in the first episode, but I never hated him.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. But also, yes. I'm a kid.
Redemption for the actor. That's what I love.
Yeah. I think that's really cool.
And it's like in the best way possible.
Yeah.
As well.
So, what else unless you want to talk more about that?
No, I think everybody said everything about that thing.
What else have you been watching?
Oh boy, besides the many Barbie movies I've been watching. Let's see, what did I watch? Oh yeah. Since we last talked, I have watched I've watched Wakanda Forever.
Oh, you did? So
I did.
I guess we haven't talked about that.
You've talked about it.
I've talked about it, but you haven't talked about it.
You haven't talked about it. I don't really want to talk about it.
Why not?
I thought it was just okay.
Uh-huh. I mean, that's fine to say.
I thought it was about okay. I thought it was just okay. It was also just like a big repeat of the first film, but with Shuri, mm-hmm. which is fine. I do think they should have just recasted because I don't know.
I the plot to continue.
I want the plot to continue than just having this start over and repeat the same thing. Also, yeah.
I think that's fair to say.
It is fair to say. Also, like Namor is nothing. He's nothing like Namor. In that Namor, from the comics and every other iteration I've seen in animation, one would never ask a Surfer Dweller for help or an alliance. He's the most prideful character in Marvel. He would never ask for help. He would never admit that he was beaten or yield. Never.
Uh-huh.
So That's the first thing he does is ask for help.
Number one, I love Shuri so much. Like, for me, she's like a top 5 Marvel character. So when watching the movie and I realized, wait, this is her movie, and I really like that, honestly. But my biggest issue was their resolution.
Oh, the resolution is bad. She stole the powers of the Black Panther, which are supposed to only be for the leader. And she's like, yoink, let this guy be leader. But he can't be Black Panther, it seems.
But, like, what I'm referring to is when she had the chance to kill Namor. And then she doesn't. Like, I really wanted Shuri to do something she would regret. You know what I mean?
Also, how'd she survive?
Yeah. I don't know.
That big gaping hole thing that killed Killmonger.
Yeah. I don't know. It could have been better.
Yeah, it could have been better. I never really bought her as the Black Panther. My mom didn't buy her as Black Panther. Mm-hmm. Also, Black Panther is only in this film for like 5 minutes, so I guess there's that.
Yeah, I still love Shuri regardless.
She's so disrespectful to the culture. I get it, that's her character, but it's like, I don't like this.
It's been long enough since I've seen it that I can't remember specifics.
And yeah, Ironheart is just there.
Yeah, she's just there. It's.
I think Riri is fine, but then you have the actual Ironheart thing there, and it's like, oh, okay, why? How is she this good already?
Producing her own show.
Yeah, she didn't need to be here.
Yeah, I have nothing against her. Not that I like her character or anything, but at the same time, nothing against her. But it's just like I don't know. This again, I need to see the movie a second time, and I did like the wrestle of the idea of contrasting cultures.
I like that too.
Oh my gosh! Like we both have lived that.
We both have lived this, yes.
Yeah, we've lived overseas, and we see, like, the way we act is different from other people, and other people can't understand the way we act, and we can't understand the way we act. But either we choose peace or we choose war.
Mm-hmm.
And both, Namor and the Wakandans are so consumed in their own mindset, they can't see any other alternative.
Yeah, they're not third culture kids like we are.
So they turn to war. It's honestly really fascinating. Like, It was really difficult to watch, but I really liked seeing it visualized at the same time.
Right.
And what I think really sucks is that most people came away from this movie crying over Chadwick than truly thinking about the story that was presented.
Yeah, and that's also because a lot of this film is just a tribute to Chadwick, which is right. It's sweet, but it's also like, come on. I get it, but like, we needed to have a story more than just let's be sad over Chadwick.
Also, I did appreciate the first scene, though.
Yeah, I'm conflicted about it. I get it, but it's also like it's an off-screen death of a main character. It's a slippery slope.
But, like, I preferred that than if the first scene was the funeral.
Yeah, but it's still they're both not great choices.
Again, Could you break that down? Because I don't understand.
Not great choices in that your main central character that your thing is based off of dies off screen in the first minute of the film. Versus we either recast the actor or we do this stupid deepfake thing to do stuff with.
Maybe we should pause on what we've watched and talk about recasting.
Oh, yes. Great transition to this other thing that just happened. Whether or not they'll be true. Yeah, recent news that hit the waves that's still being talked about as we speak. The actor for Kang, Jonathan Majors, was just recently arrested for assaulting apparently his girlfriend. So there's that. Again, we don't really know the full details. We don't know what the situation was. But, you never want that to be a great thing. And I doubt that they'll want to continue with him with so much controversy, especially if Kang is such a big deal.
I think I hope Disney will let it play out for at least a few weeks.
Let it play out, but it'd also be very hypocritical of Disney because they let people go for like stupid stuff such as a political allegiance versus something as serious as this.
Right. Yeah, they've built so much around Jonathan Majors. Not to mention Searchlight was going to release a Sundance film in November starring Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, I see that like Ezra Miller was also trending with that.
Yeah.
I get it.
I'll say this. You haven't seen Quantumania yet. But
I have not.
Seeing his acting. Okay, no, let me backtrack a little bit. So there have been some people online who say that people at Yale and or New York they've known about his reputation for being psychologically manipulative and such.
Okay.
And I'll say like I really liked his portrayal of Kang the Conqueror in Quantumania. But thinking about the way he portrayed Kang, I was like, you know what? I honestly buy those allegations. Because he plays psychological and manipulative well. To the point where I'm like, this man probably isn't even acting. It's probably just him. I know you haven't seen Quantumania yet, but like, when you do see it, I'm curious if you'll come to that a similar conclusion, because because the way he acts is like the most unique I've ever seen an actor act. Like I just genuinely had high praise for like the way he portrayed the character. It's like it's a psychological menacing. It's not like Thanos, he's stomping around and you're scared of big guy, you know what I mean? It's like Kang just has power with his words. That you're like, you want to trust him, but you kind of can't. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then that's reportedly who he is in real life. And I'm just like, you know what? I see it. Now, at the end of the day, I hope he isn't that. I hope, but I think he is that. I think he is. Again, I'm not one to judge. I don't know truly anything. I am very upset about it, but after truly thinking about it, I'm not surprised.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that seems to be the case with a lot of these things where it's like, I'm not surprised. I'm not really that upset about it. Maybe a little bit. Because another piece of news was like Justin Roiland being kicked off of everything. He was creator of Rick and Morty, being the voice of both Rick and Morty, kicked off the show. He's being recasted for some allegations of his. I don't really know. I don't really know if it's true or not. But it is what it is. I don't think Rick and Morty will be successful afterwards because, well, the character is literally him, not just in voice, but like he helped create it, and it's part of it is his mind.
Mm-hmm.
And with the stuff that's in the show, I wouldn't be surprised if the allegations were true. But it's not up to me to decide.
Right.
So I don't really care.
I'm just very disappointed.
Disappointed is probably the word. It's like, I'm disappointed, but I'm not going to be losing sleep over it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. But like after Quantumania,
unless if it's your hero that like you praised, it's like, oh, really? Them?
Yeah.
If Mark Hamill turned out to be a terrible person after years of being such a nice person, it's like, oh, okay. Well, that's sad.
I guess just like after seeing Quantumania, I was really looking forward to seeing Jonathan Majors in future MCU projects.
So will he be recast? Who knows?
Yeah, way too early to tell.
Way too early to tell.
I think Kang is the best character to recast because there's so many versions of him.
There is a logical conclusion for that, yes.
Yeah, so like it will work out. He was, from what I've seen, like the King we saw in Loki is such a different King that we see in Quantumania.
Correct.
And he could pull off these different personalities so well. I was so looking forward to it. But yeah, so it is what it is. So, and then Marvel let go of a president within their camp as well.
I don't really know a whole lot of detail, but that the only rumor I heard that they may be part of the issue with with this visual effects side of things. I don't know. We'll see.
So that's a lot of drama for Marvel this week.
A lot of drama for Marvel.
In an already bid state that they're in.
Yeah, in DC side, Shazam is like flopped.
Which is
worse
sad at the
than
end
the other DC movies of recent years, it seems. By a lot. So.
Which is, at the end of the day, very sad.
Very sad, but to be fair, the entire film was in the trailer, so.
Yes, it was.
I'm not surprised. Continuing with what I watched. I rewatched Batman v Superman because I was doing a cinematography paper.
The extended one?
Yes. Yes, of course. And what I said was that it's a film that best visually captures Batman because that's really cool. The action scenes are great, and Ben Affleck is still the best part. The film has sadly not aged the best. What made it great at the time was that it was setting up a universe that immediately went into a different direction, which is really sad. Moving on, me and my mother, we watched through the Indiana Jones movies as well as the Young Indiana Jones TV show to get ready for the new Indiana Jones movie. I hope it's good, although I'm still pretty apprehensive about it.
I'm hearing people saying that 4 wasn't good.
It really depends on who you ask. Kids enjoy 4. Big fans of the series don't. What did I say about 4? I get it. It's a film that is not as bad as it's made out to be. There are some questionable decisions, for sure, but it gives Indy the best character work. This film includes some of the best shots of the series. I have the most iconic shots that I think about the show
Mhm.
that come from this film, and also gives a satisfying conclusion to an open-ended plot from earlier films.
Hmm.
Like this film, even though it's talked so bad about, has so many good elements in it that
Mhm.
I hope is not retconned or ignored. Okay, then we watched Megan.
Ooh.
Megan.
The in theaters or the unrated version?
The theatrical version.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we watched this for the podcast, Binging Barbie, which will be
Wait, why?
because technically it's related. It's a doll
Oh my gosh. Okay, go on.
thing. I really wanted to see this film, and he's like, "Well, we'll do a podcast on it." It's like, okay, cool. It's a film with an interesting concept and commentary on the toy industry / background parenting choices. The plot is predictable, but it's still engaging to see play out. Yeah, it's very predictable, but it was fun. It was a fun watch. I enjoyed it, and it's very sequel worthy, I'd say. When the podcast episode comes out, I suggest you listen to it, listeners, not just you. And then the last main film that I watched is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a film that doesn't have too complex of a story, but really stands out because of the animation and how well it's told. It's really refreshing compared to what other animated films would be getting recently.
So, Puss in Boots 2 is one of the movies I have seen.
Yes.
Everyone was hyping this movie up.
Oh, I know. They were.
And so I came away disappointed.
I get it, yeah.
I guess for a lot of people because they were comparing it to the first Puss in Boots movie.
It's also like all we've been getting recently is like Disney and Pixar animated films, which visually look exactly the same. And here it's like we'll have different frame rates and cool visual and action scenes. And we're not gonna just play. We're not gonna explain everything. We're gonna let the character breathe for a minute. Neat.
I think yes, there are good qualities about it, but yeah,
It's so simple of a story.
Yeah, you know what? I think that I feel like I always come back to that. I was expecting a deeper story. I'm not gonna deny that it has good qualities. I just was expecting a deeper story.
But yeah, I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's amazing. I just think it's good, generally.
Mm-hmm.
All
right. So you're done with your list, right?
Films, yes. So you can go.
TV shows.
You can go. You can go.
Are you sure?
Yeah, go.
Because I'm a mix of movies and TV shows too.
Just do your thing. I don't care.
Yeah. So, Quantumania is one of the movies I did see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. We didn't really talk about it. There are elements I did have fun with. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not that great. It just. I don't know. I can't remember if I talked about this in last episode or not, but this was the most episodic the MCU has felt. And I did not feel satisfied at the end of the movie like I should at the end of the movie.
Uh-huh.
It's yeah. There's a choice that they made at the end that I did not love. Maybe you'll be like, Christopher, you're thinking too much about this, but we'll talk about it when you watch it. So
okay.
I'll leave it at that.
All right.
I really haven't watched a lot. Did we last episode before break? Did we record the episode before or after Christmas?
I honestly have no clue.
Okay. I don't know. So I'll just toss this in. When I visited some people for Christmas and watched a couple of Christmas movies.
Mm-hmm.
A Christmas Story.
Ooh, okay.
The first time seeing that, and I enjoyed it. And Scrooged, starring Bill Murray, which I also enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
So, two enjoyable Christmas movies that I saw. Scrooge, I feel like, is a movie I'd enjoy more a second go because I'll know I know the atmosphere better. It's just such a different movie. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
TV shows. The third season of Ted Lasso is currently airing on Apple TV Plus, and I don't think it's funny, but I love the stories, so I recommend that.
Mm-hmm.
Severance on Apple TV Plus is an interesting concept of what if you were able to separate yourself from your work. Like, what if when you went to work, you had no memories of your life outside?
Huh, okay.
And because this show honestly hits home for me because I struggle with emotions and or even feeling in the first place because of trauma in my life. And so this hit on an emotional level for me where I really gravitated to this show.
Mm-hmm.
So there's only one season. They're currently in production the second season. So the finale is one of those finales where it does the job of a finale that also doesn't answer everything. So there's a degree where the last episode is like, it's the end, what? But I recommend the show, though.
Yeah, I've heard some good things about it, but it's on
Yes.
Apple TV, which is a whole other streaming service.
Yeah.
But if it's combined with Disney Plus, if the rumors of them being sold is true, I don't really know anymore.
Yeah.
Then,
So many rumors at this
whatever.
point. I mean, either Disney's
It's on my
keeping
list.
Hulu or selling Hulu. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who
What's
knows?
going on with Netflix? I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe one day Apple TV Plus will have enough stuff for you to want to get a month of it.
Maybe one day we'll have like one brand new streaming service that just is a conglomeration of every other streaming service.
Maybe. Speaking of Apple TV Plus, I'll just throw this out there. There's a report that they're dedicating $1 billion each year for theatrical releases.
Okay.
That means they're intentionally making movies for theaters.
They're one-upping Netflix.
Yeah. So, and then obviously they'll live on Apple TV Plus. But the point is, yeah, one-upping Netflix. Like
again.
I think because like I've been like following movie news a little bit lately, and like obviously there are massive flops like the new Shazam movie, but you know, like you make a movie like Megan cheaply, and
make a lot of money.
You make a lot of money. Yeah, it's wild. It's legitimately wild. I think Megan. I think it had a $12 million budget. It might have been 20. I don't remember.
So that's like
it made 30 million.
So apparently that's just the scheme of that studio. Like they'll make their film so cheap, but make it good enough that it makes their money back.
Yeah. And like that's from what I'm seeing, like that's the case with like a lot of horror movies. Like there's an audience for horror. You make it cheap. You make your return back. You make another one.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty smart, honestly.
It is smart.
So seeing Apple TV Plus doing this, or just Apple, but for Apple TV Plus, is smart at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
They have the money that they can spend, and then they'll make their returns, and you'll have movies that do well in theaters, and then maybe you'll generate more, awards buzz, and then you'll have more people wanting to hop on these streaming services. It's really interesting, honestly. There was another show I watched on Apple TV Plus called Pachinko, which is a Korean-Japanese show. It's based on the lives of Koreans, but it happens in Korea and Japan. It's interesting. I guess I wasn't prepared for what this was, so I was not able to appreciate this like most people.
Mm-hmm.
And again, just like Severance, they're working on the second season. So the finale episode felt more conclusive to a degree, but not. No, I'll take that back. It's obviously not a finished story. No. Pachinko. Okay, no, Severance. I really thought it was going to be a more contained story within the first season.
Okay.
But it's not. Obviously, the second season is going to be bigger, but like the story keeps going. While Pachinko felt more like I was reading chapters in someone's life story.
Okay.
So a chapter, or say is it 9 episodes? So chapter 9 ended. So now I'm just waiting for chapter 10 to be released. You know what I mean? Which is, I could say the same about Severance. Like there is a sense of unity around that first season, but like it didn't conclude. You know what I mean? While Pachinko is based around stories of people. It's a fictional story, but am I making sense?
No, yeah, you're making sense.
Okay, cool. Then this might come as a surprise to you. Are you familiar with a show called Once Upon a Time?
I am, yes.
Yeah. So me and some coworkers at work are going through this show.
Aww.
A few coworkers have seen the show and love it, and a few of us, like me, have never seen it before. So I have seen the first season. I think from the get-go, the concept was fascinating enough. I think I'm one who would sit down to watch a drama, like a soap opera in the first place. Like, it's not my first choice, but I'm not one to be like, oh, I don't want to watch that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I said, it's not my first choice. And so, with Once Upon a Time, with its dual concept of, a past life and the current life,
yeah,
makes it so much more intriguing of a soap opera.
And then later seasons were like, let's just shoehorn every Disney thing we have.
So I haven't started season 2 yet. I keep making jokes about being so excited to see Elsa. I hear that story isn't great. But yeah, it's very fascinating. Very fascinating.
Yeah. No, I never got into Once Upon a Time. My mom did when it was just airing its first couple seasons. And then she stopped watching because I guess she didn't really care after a certain point.
Yeah, that's what I
And so, like, I saw bits and pieces of it to the point where I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. It was like, oh, really, that? I don't really care. So, it's one of those shows that maybe 10 years down the line I'd watch with someone, but I don't think I'd ever actively just watch it by myself.
So, yeah, that's most of what I watched. There's some other things here and there. Like, I've been back to watching South Park, but you don't care about that, so.
I don't.
Yeah. So that's my round. All right, what's your TV shows?
All right, continuing on with my TV shows. I don't know if I talked about this, but I'll start here.
Okay.
The Santa Clauses.
Oh, the
on
Santa
Disney
Clauses.
Plus.
We love. Yeah. No, I've never seen the movies, honestly.
Yeah, it's just like a sequel to the original movies from the early 2000s. Okay. So this is a show that feels like it wants to accomplish something big, but looks cheap in that Disney Plus original kind of way. I don't know if you've seen much Disney Plus originals. besides the Marvel shows.
No.
But like, they all kind of look cheap. It was cool to see Tim Allen again as Santa, and the writing for him was spot on. And overall, the show is just okay. It doesn't capture the magic of the original films, and this is partially due to the budget because it doesn't look great. Everything's predictable, and the child acting is not good. Overall, we got a really underwhelming series that's only being held together by the witticism that is Tim Allen. That's really it. Tim Allen. He was the best part, and he should be. Yeah, and so then me and my mom, we continued watching Doctor Who, where I left off years ago with the new Doctor. I had watched the first few episodes of her season, and I was like, this is so garbage, and I stopped watching. So then, the 60th anniversary is coming out this year, and so I thought, okay, I'll rewatch this thing, see if it's still garbage. It's still garbage, by the way. It's not great. It got better midway through, then it got bad, and it got really bad. And then we're getting... Hopefully it'll get better with a new showrunner and a new doctor, so we'll see. It's disappointing. But, hey, I got back on the Doctor Who train. Whoopee. And then, watched an anime called Romantic Killer. Basic concept is this girl doesn't want to get into a romantic relationship, but this like weird creature from a video game's like, no, I'm going to force you to do it. So it's a fun and cute series that's really easy to watch. It's a simple story that does not get a conclusion by the end of the season, which is a shame because I really wanted one. Mm-hmm. The characters are fun. This is a good casual watch. Nothing spectacular. Would have preferred if there was an ending. Yeah, because they're probably setting up for a sequel. Then I watched Samurai Champloo, is another anime, which is like supposed to be a successor to an anime called Cowboy Bebop. It's not as memorable, but it's still well made. The genre blending is not as present as it could be. Because like what this creator was known for was like mixing genres. That Cowboy Bebop was like mixing Western cowboys, but in space. Here it was like we're just doing samurais, but like with the hood and rap music.
Interesting.
It's not that present, and there's a lot of episodes with similar stories. The fights are cool, but characters are not as interesting. The ending feels like a cop-out, but tries to be different from Bebop because they realized, oh crap, we're too similar. Let's just pull a 180. Then I watched What We Do in the Shadows.
That sounds familiar.
Yes, it's a Taika Waititi comedy.
Oh, I didn't even... Okay, I never associated it with you.
About vampires. And it's like The Office, but for vampires. So it's a comedy with an interesting concept of a vampire docu-series. The finales are the best episodes, and the character growth is fun to watch. It's not my favorite, but I can see the appeal.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's a spin-off of Doctor Who made for kids called The Sarah Jane Adventures. Basically, there's some fun ideas, but they're ruined by the cheap way episodes conclude in that kid show kinds of way, especially British kid shows.
Well, okay, why specifically British kid shows? Because I don't know.
Because the kid shows there are just kind of different in that they're more your stereotypical kid show. That's what people think of. Like that's very present here, where it's like it's concluded very. The solution is be good, speak good words. The power of love will defeat your enemy.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Like every episode, it's like they're always in a situation where the bad guy's about to win, but they're like, no, we have the power of love and thought and free will. And the bad guy's like, oh no. And then they die. And of course, again, I rewatched the Young Indiana Jones.
Wait. That almost just reminds me like the ending of Doctor Strange. Multiverse of Madness.
Yes, but worse than that. So much
worse than that.
Because there it makes sense. There it makes
Doctor
sense.
Strange?
Yeah, there it makes sense. Here it's like there's no reason why that should be their solution. It pulls it out of their bum. And this is every episode they end this exact same way. Then I rewatched the Young Indiana Jones show for the new film. I remember we talked about this show when I was watching it the first time in our early days of podcasting, so I still really like it. Really wish it didn't end the way it did. Okay, so you know, Netflix, there's My Little Pony, and there's the new generation of ponies. There was a movie that came out that was pretty decent, and then there was the Netflix TV show that I didn't watch when it came out because it didn't look good. So I finally watched it, and here's what I have to say about it. It's a waste of time. Nothing interesting happens. The story ideas do not get fleshed out properly. The writing is really weak, and every episode is 10% relevant substance and 90% filler, which is bad. There are times where they get close to making an interesting choice, but then make up some other thing to do instead. There's a huge world to explore, but we're stuck in the same boring location.
And when was this released?
So they've been releasing it in like segments. The show, the first thing, let me see. When did this thing release? So this season, specific segment came out in September.
Oh, okay. Is this the new reboot you were talking about?
The new reboot, where the film was pretty good, yeah. But the show is just so bad. So bad. It's not good. It's so disappointing. Oh well. So I also then finished Primal, the Genndy Tartakovsky series about this caveman and his dinosaur girlfriend doing cool stuff. It's a brilliant animated series that lets the visuals convey the emotions and tell the story. There's barely any voice acting at all. If there's any, it's just grunts. It's a fun show that can get pretty graphic at times, for sure, but it really reflects the violent nature of the characters. Because you got a big old T-Rex and a caveman. Pretty neat. Really cool. And then I rewatched Beware the Batman, which is a CGI Batman show from 2013, 2014. Only had one season. Got canceled like halfway through. This show does a pretty good job at being a distinct Batman series by focusing on the lesser-known characters of his villains rogues gallery. The action scenes are cool, and it is nice to see Batman do more detective work. Where the series falls is that Batman is the weakest character. His design is ugly. It's so ugly. And most of his acting is woodenly the same. The writing can also be disappointing at times, but overall, it's a good watch. It's just it makes sense why it didn't go on. The very early episodes are rough. It was easy to watch. I kind of binged through it, so that was nice. And then probably the most surprising thing, Barbie: Life in the Dream House. This is a show. I watched this as a joke. Because like my other guy in the podcast, we didn't want to do the TV shows, and I'm like, I'll watch one just to see what it's like. Holy crap, I love this show. I really do. So what it is it's not an actual show per se, but it's like when this released, it was like 3 to 5 minute shorts. But Netflix, they combined them to like 20 minutes. So it's just a compilation of different shorts. It's so fun and chaotic. It makes it so much easier to just to watch and binge, just like all these shorts. And it's one of the best Barbie stuff out there. It's so self-aware and funny. I love it. I was so surprised. It was so good. In terms of like what I'm trying to watch but I haven't finished is I'm still trying to watch the Superhero Squad show, which is like Marvel but for kids. It's so bad. I can't watch it. It's just so dumb. Like I'm on season 2. It's still so dumb. Like they have access to all of these Marvel characters, but the best thing they can come up with is a fart joke. It's so disappointing. I hate it so much. But I'm trying. Thanos is the villain of season 2, and he's nothing like the Thanos we know. I hate it. I hate it so much.
You know what? I think you hate it so much.
I don't know why I'm still watching it, but I am. I have to finish it and write this stupid serialized review on it. That's my life.
Serialized has encaptured your life.
It has, really. I'm watching shows just to write a review on it on serialized and not do anything else with it. Maybe I will one day. You know, I talked about wanting to do a Christian review channel. Might still do that. I watched the first episode of The Chosen.
Oh, okay.
And I did. It was pretty neat.
Okay. How recent was that?
Oh, it was a few weeks ago.
Okay. So is this something you see yourself going back to?
Yeah, like it's one of those shows that I'm probably gonna watch with my mom. You know, because we watch stuff together. This is like one of the things I'll probably do with her. Go through that because right now she's not here, so we'll probably watch it with her. First episode is it's different, but I enjoyed it casually. So we'll see as we go forward.
Okay.
That's the gist of it. The shows that I watched, I'm currently watching for now. I'm also working on a project.
John,
yeah,
you're doing too many projects.
Yeah, but this is a personal project.
Oh, is this a personal project that you feel comfortable sharing?
Yes.
Ooh.
I was sure about it.
Oh.
So, no. So, I'm making a video about life after My Little Pony ended. Talking about my reflections, like, do I still watch the show? How's the community been? Stuff like that. Because I'm in a very nostalgic and reflective mood. Like, this was something that I was supposed to be doing like 2 years ago, but then I kept putting it off, and now I'm doing it. And I'm doing it proper. Like, it was just gonna be something simple. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna talk and just go through these few points. But now it's like, oh, well, now I have B-roll footage that I'm gonna be filming with a friend, and I'm also conducting interviews with other people, getting their perspectives on it. So it's turning into something, into a proper documentary than just a guy sitting and talking about his experience. So that'll be interesting to see play out. So yeah, I've been watching the last season of the show because I only watched it once when it came out. Haven't seen it since, and so it's been fun watching through it. I also had a presentation in class. I think I told you this last week, but I had to watch the first 3 episodes of Ponies and give a presentation on the show. The presentation went fine. It didn't go the way I thought it would. It was funny, but not the kind of funny I was hoping for.
Funny as in reactions.
Yeah, because it's like I do set up comedy in the thing to be, and like some of that won't happen, but a lot of it is also like, oh, they're laughing because it's ponies, not because I made the funny joke. It's like, oh my gosh, we're really talking about ponies. Oh, that's a name that the character's named after. Oh, this is the story element they're going with. Like, ah, cringe. It's like cringe laugh. It's like, ah, why am I doing this? So yeah, no. I kind of wish it was better, but no, the audience is fine. Like they didn't hate on it. They were like, oh yeah, they get it.
Okay, at least they got it.
But you know, the professor.
Oh, did he or she give you crap?
But didn't give me crap. But like when the name of the show was called for my thing to go up, it's like, oh yeah, My Little Pony. You know, of all the projects for this thing, this is the only show I didn't watch. And it's like, oh, okay. and then he was just laughing the entire presentation. It's like I'd say a name of the character, he'd laugh. Mm-hmm. I'd say something, he'd laugh. Not because it was funny, but he'd like, oh, this is funny because kid show, I guess. I don't know.
So he couldn't take you seriously.
To be fair, I wasn't really being serious.
Okay.
I was over-exaggerating a lot of things.
Okay.
Which is how I do presentations.
So it's your fault.
It's partially my fault. But it's also like, I kind of wish that they weren't. The stigma about ponies and little girl shows being the way it is, it's still the same years later. Although the students aren't as weirded about it. Yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, no, I'm making my video. I got some people involved. It should be an interesting time. I filmed some B-roll. It's gonna be creative as heck.
And you're gonna make Gershner proud.
I don't know about that, but I am using some elements I got from Gershner. Mm-hmm. And other classes to make this a better looking video. Mm-hmm.
How long do you think it's going to be?
Oh boy. I'm raging from like 10 to 20 minutes. But knowing me, it's going to be like 30 to 40.
And are you thinking like putting this like on YouTube kind of thing?
It's a YouTube thing, not an Instagram thing. Yeah. Purely YouTube. That's where the audience is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because a lot of the retrospectives are like not really positive towards the bronies.
Towards the bronies. Okay.
To bronies. There was really one that was like really shocking about how bronies ruined their childhood. And like, oh my gosh, it made so much sense because like they were the target audience during the time. They were the little girl, but now they've grown up. And it's like they were exposed to so much stuff. Do you know how we're concerned now about things being on YouTube being made for kids?
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing, but we didn't realize that was already happening. Mm. So they were already exposed, and we messed them up, and we didn't even realize this. Mm. So, yeah, that's fun. Gotta love that.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, in hindsight, we really should have thought of that.
Yeah.
We really should have.
But also, not necessarily to defend bad, but technology has moved so quickly and so fast.
It has. Like, I didn't really get into YouTube until I was like 10, 13. Mm-hmm. They were watching stuff when they were like 4.
Yeah.
So it's really, again, it's really how quickly generations are moving on. Like my parents, they didn't really have the internet, and then I came in. There was no YouTube for them.
Right.
There was YouTube for us, and our kids are gonna have YouTube too.
Mhm.
Hopefully. Hopefully we don't have to change sites. But yeah, no, that's how it is.
What a life.
What a life. Now,
So,
yeah, go on.
no, you go.
I have nothing to say. Go on.
No, you had something to say. I didn't really.
There were some other things that we were gonna talk about. I don't remember what it was from last week.
I don't remember.
Yeah, that's what happens. What did you get for Christmas?
So how's the weather over there, John?
The weather's fine. It's getting hot now.
You don't like hot?
I don't. No.
No? Why not?
I don't know. I liked wearing sweaters.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess this means I can turn on the AC again, so that's nice. What did I get for Christmas?
Got at least one book.
Did I?
Did you get anything for Christmas?
I mean, I got. What the heck did I get?
John didn't get anything.
Oh, I got No Way Home. I got No Way Home
On
Blu-ray.
Okay.
I got No Way Home on Blu-ray. I got a couple DVDs. I don't think I got a book. Oh, yes, I got an action figure.
Oh, you did?
I did. It's my favorite blue boy in the world. Yeah, my cowboy Star Wars character. I love him so much.
Where's he from?
It's from the Clone Wars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Cad Bane. He's the best. I got his figure.
I was looking at that like, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I mean, if I move there, you will.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. I think you would probably be the person to sit me down to watch Clone Wars at this point.
I mean, that was the plan.
That is true.
That was the plan. So.
Okay. Oh, so we probably talked about Daredevil a little bit last week.
Mm-hmm, we did.
But I kind of mentioned like how like, you know what? I'm just repeating what we talked about last week. But like how hesitant I am, not hesitant, unwilling to watch the Netflix Daredevil. Like it's one of those things where I feel like I will eventually, but like I have no desire to in preparation for the Disney Daredevil.
But if I'm there and I feel like watching it and be like, hey, do you want to watch it?
Yeah. But like every day more and more, the less I want to do my Marvel.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, that's fine.
I think I will one day, but like just
make sure I'm around.
And then again, like going through like Once Upon a Time, like we've only hit the first season. And that dang season being like 22 episodes long, and that's, you know, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is also an ABC show.
Oh, yeah. I get it. I get it. I mean, I'm not asking you to go through CW shows. Oh, Lord. So many seasons, 23 episodes, 40 minutes. Really only like 5 episodes are actually good or worth it. Oh, no. Imagine. I have to do that again at some point, don't I?
What, rewriting the DC stuff?
I'll sit down with my kid and be like, hey, kid.
With your kids.
With my kids. I'm like, hey, kids, check this thing out that I watched when I was your age. Let's go through the entire Arrowverse with so many seasons. We'll start from Smallville.
Wait, is Smallville part of the Arrowverse?
Not technically. But it gets referenced at times.
Okay, so the thing I was hesitant in bringing up, and then I remembered I had this conversation with someone else. That's why I was hesitant to bring it up. So, because I didn't want to repeat topics. So right. I'm not. Blu-ray, 3D Blu-ray. What was your experience with that?
I've had no experience with 3D Blu-ray.
Oh, frick.
I wasn't around.
Well, John, that was a great conversation about 3D Blu-ray.
Thank you. I'm glad I was here to help.
Yeah.
I was glad I was here to help. Yeah. No, DC is fun. I'm really glad I made that.
And it's getting even more fun.
Oh my gosh. Oh my. I am really glad though that I made that 30-page document that's very outdated at this point.
Yeah.
It's still a good document. I should turn it into something someday. We'll see. I want to use it on you.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I don't feel interested right now.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I haven't been that interested in watching a lot of this stuff lately. Like, I'm still going through South Park because I still haven't like gone through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm on like season 14.
Yeah.
Season 14 right now, I think, or 15, whatever. So, like, I actually hadn't touched South Park in a while, but season 26 is airing right now, and the episode that released last Wednesday was so good. Like, it was just like it hit like the South Park feels for me, and
it hit the South Park feels.
Yes, and so like this week I've watched, I don't know, like 10 episodes. So I've kind of been back in that swing of things. So yeah, I mean, and then I'm like currently watching Ted Lasso, but like outside of like those two things, like there's not a lot that I'm like, I'll watch whatever Marvel releases kind of thing. I'm still at that stage. Because that's the thing, like Marvel is still so new to me. So a lot of you people have been there since like the first Avengers movie, are so burnt out at this point.
Right.
But it's still new enough for me where I'm still enjoying it. Now, I'm not, but I am at the same time, you know? Perks of being late to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So I think next time, hopefully in 2 weeks, I will have listened to the mix you sent me. And
yeah, there might be some changes to the mix.
Okay, cool.
In that a song that was there is no longer there.
Oh, what was it called? Maybe it's on Spotify.
Well, maybe it's just fine if I leave it out.
Okay. Well, okay. I'm not going to be able to hit it for just a week because Semper Town, we have to like put together a list of like favorite songs that released
right
for each month. And March has been stacked for some reason. There's been so many releases this month. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And not to mention, the last day of the month is a Friday, which means even more albums. And you know how many projects I've listened to in the past 2 weeks? 3. How many do I want to listen to? I don't know, 15. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to hit them all. But that is kind of just my priority right now. And then after that, I'll hit your mix, which by that time, we'll be recording an episode. So if I fail to hit your mix, then I am, once again, a bad friend.
It's fine, you know. It's whatever.
But also saying that because we're at the beginning of a new year, that means I get to share with you my favorite songs of the previous year.
You do. Yeah. Yes.
So I'm like, I already have like the thing, like, because we already posted it with Semper Maton, but now it's just a matter of you listening to it. So
yeah.
Yep, Judah posted on Facebook, 50 days of getting married in 50 days.
Nice.
Wild.
Crazy. crazy. It's crazy, bruh. How many days do I have left? Less than 50. Oh.
Less than 50?
Mm.
Kelsey's getting married soon.
I don't like that thought.
Kelsey getting married?
No. Less than 50 days.
Sorry, what?
Oh, less than 50 days? No. Really?
College ending?
Well, technically, it's roughly 50 days, but still. Oh. Oh, boy, that hurts. Next week will be, next Sunday will be officially April. And then that's like, oh.
What does that mean?
I'll be graduating in like May.
You know, I realized because I'm currently church shopping, that means I have to visit church on Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to do that.
I don't know if I want to graduate. But I have to.
Uh-huh.
You know, the longer I stay here, the younger everyone gets.
Yeah.
You know, we were freshmen here who they worked on the show with us. They were born in 2005.
What?
They're 18. I couldn't handle that. I was like, what? Revenge of the Sith came out that year. That was the first year I watched Star Wars. What? You're 18? You were born that year? I hate that. Great person, but I hate that.
Right. That's wild.
I feel so old. If I stay any longer, I'm going to feel even older. Like, I was born in 2007. I'm like, how dare you? How dare you be born that late?
You know what I should do?
What?
I should text Judah Fox and tell him to text you to come to Sight and Sound.
And it's like, it's really sad because like I'll be 25 this year. And it's like, I hate that so much. Where did it all go, Christopher? So old.
So old, John.
I'm so old.
You and that. I'll just affirm you in that. You're so old, John.
I get it now. I get what teachers keep talking about. Oh, I get it.
What have the teachers been talking about?
They're talking about how they're old. They're talking about how they're so old now that like the kids that they taught when they were freshmen are now having children, and that their children are now in their class as well. And it's like, oh no, I'm so old.
Oh my god, that is such a weird thought.
It is a weird thought. Imagine being that teacher who taught you, and then you got kids, and now your kids with that teacher.
Okay, can you imagine you're delivered and they get audio classes? I remember when John he sat right there and he never talked. I hope you can talk more than your father did. Very funny, but never talked.
That sounds too much like something he'd say. And also very true to what I actually did. Besides my presentations, that was it. I just sat there, listened, didn't talk.
What would he say about me?
I don't know. I wasn't here with you.
It's like sometimes late and like no. I had a different professor. I kept like sleeping into her class. I felt so bad. Oh, I don't know what he'd roast me about, honestly, because like it's one of the things where I just think like, what did Gershner think about me? And I don't know.
I mean, he remembers you when I ask about you, but he doesn't really say anything.
Oh, so you've asked about me?
Well, when he was like when he shows off past projects, I'm like, can you show Christopher's? And I was like, I don't really have that on my thing right now.
Yeah.
I don't remember when that was. Well, yeah, that was a project.
I don't think I ever had a project that he loved.
Well, you were part of a project that he presented.
Wait, really?
Yeah, location sound project. You weren't the main focus, but you were there and you had your cast.
Okay.
You were on your crutches, yeah. It was I don't remember which one it was, but it was probably it was the compare one.
I don't remember.
Something.
Do's and don'ts.
I remember your do's and don'ts, but you did a compare project with some group, and you were barely there. You were like inside the parking lot of Golden Corral.
Yes, I remember that.
You showed that one.
You don't remember how that project turned out.
I
know now I do remember how that project turned out. Oh no. I remember part of it. Okay. That's my legacy, huh?
That's your legacy.
Ah!
Congrats. Okay. That's your legacy. Yeah. We have SonicCon 2023, but
that's happening still.
That's happening from what I'm hearing from Greg though. Nelson changes his mind every day about it. But they've already officially announced it, but he's still like on the fence. It is interesting.
Have they selected people?
Well, if they do, they're not allowed to tell me.
No.
But like, I know he wants to, but he's also like afraid to, because of the last time.
I don't know what to say. But what is there to do?
Give us more money.
True. That is true.
Yeah, give the department more money, then they'll not complain about it.
Why is Liberty so stingy?
Yeah, we still don't really have our esports department.
Wait, that was supposed to happen?
That was supposed to happen, but they decided not to because that was during the whole Jerry ordeal. Because Jerry was for it, and they're like, "Oh no, let's not do that." And now the esports people are like, "Oh, come on."
Gershner is still like in the Cinnabon people. They have a Foley studio. We don't.
Yeah. So, I think the Media Lab got robbed.
What?
Like no one in DG is talking about it, but the Cine people are talking about it. Someone went into the Media Lab and stole $20,000 worth of camera equipment.
And is there?
Well, we have security cameras now, so, but they were wearing a mask.
Oh my gosh.
So we don't know. I have no clue if there's a conclusion to that story, but that's what I heard. If that's the case, that's a bummer because DG really needs that stuff. I see that you're speechless.
I am, because, I mean, I'll be honest, the Media Lab not having security camera doesn't necessarily surprise me. But it's the fact that I would think Green Hall would have enough security.
Oh, no. There were security cameras.
But so much so that they can't trace it back seemingly. You know what I mean?
Also, like, how did they get in there? Like, did they have badge access? Did they have a key? That should not be difficult to figure out. So,
yeah. That's wild.
It is wild. Yes. But hey. Anyway, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.